Hey, and a good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios out in Inlet Beach. Meteorologist Dan Nyman sitting in his Batman chair over in Panama City. How are we doing today?
A very nice day today. It was cold to start, but I didn't think this afternoon was all that bad. It felt all right out there, although some of the temperatures we're looking at for the end of this week, Friday morning, are just really unsettling to think about.
Yeah, Thursday day and Friday morning. Yeah, that's going to be the in the ballpark of the coldest, I guess, we've been so far this season.
It's definitely going to get close. You start talking about the mid 20s trying to make their way down towards the base. It's an uncomfortable way to get the day going, but I think I don't know what's worse. Is it that morning being that cold, or the fact that unlike the last three times we've talked about a hard freeze inland, there isn't going to be this time a return to the 60s and 70s 2 days later?
Yeah, that's the thing is it's going to continue to stay cold through the weekend into next week. But as you were saying, yeah, today I took a walk down to the beach, and as long as you were in the sun, it felt pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It was a lot better than yesterday, even though we were, yes, below average.
Yeah, and that's of course going to be the story as we get through pretty much the weekend or early next week. We're talking about Friday being the second of a trio of shots of cold air. So we're gonna get our whole fill of winter in about 10 days.
Yes, we will. Today, beautiful blue skies across northwest Florida. And as you look from the Upers there, their vantage point on Panama City Beach, and you look around the curve there, and once again, we had another plume of smoke from a prescribed burn over actually in South Walton, over into Point Washington State Forest. And that's where that smoke was coming from today, but we appreciate them sending in that picture. And you see again with that northerly wind just how calm things are right along the immediate coastline. As you get offshore, it was still a little bit bumpy, but at least near shore with the protection of the dune line and the condos, things pretty flat there. Right along the immediate coastline. It showed up once again across our area. As we looked out over into South Walton, we had a plume of smoke there earlier this evening. So as we talk a little bit about what's happening across our area, we'll continue. There's that little plume of smoke that we ended up seeing earlier this afternoon. And then now that plume going away. But that's what the Upers were looking at. We appreciate you sending in pictures and videos across Northwest Florida. You can submit them on our website there at panhandleweather.com. Meanwhile, as we look out over into Destin tonight, temperature 51 degrees, cold weather there. Winds out of the west to northwest at 3 miles an hour. Meanwhile, over into Panama City, we're looking at 53 degrees, west-northwest wind at 7 miles an hour, feels like at 51. But all in all, fairly calm conditions continuing this evening. Pretty cold out there for sure. And as you look out over there at Schooners there, we do have a bonfire ongoing. 51, a little bit chilly for a bonfire, but hey, when it's your time, it's your time. As you look out over into Panama City Beach, see that little bit of a breeze right there. Now, it's important to note that the wind has turned a little bit more westerly, and that's a slight onshore wind for us. And so as a result, it won't get as cold tonight across our areas. That moisture's beginning to return. So while Dan and I were talking about some of the coldest air on the way for Friday morning, tomorrow morning and Thursday mornings will be chilly for sure, but at least we are not at a risk of any freezing temperatures across our area. You can see a little bit of that daylight still out there across the horizon. Days getting longer. Temperatures this morning started off into the 20s inland, 30s along the coastline. Coast avoiding a freeze. Inland areas once again seeing a nice freeze this morning. High temperatures today did rebound up into the 50s and 60s across our region. You see 65 in Wewan, 61 degrees over into Bonifay. Right now we're into the 40s and 50s. I think tonight will be one of those things where we'll see a bit of a range. We're already into the 40s across the I-10 corridor, but holding on to near 50 degrees right along the immediate coastline. When you look compared to 24 hours ago, most of us are warmer, at least 5 degrees warmer across our region. So let's talk a little bit about those winds. If you look real carefully here on this map, you can see the streamline showing the winds very lightly coming out of the west. Now you look at these numbers, there's a lot of zeros, 3, 5, 7, so not a lot of wind, but it is a slight onshore wind, and that's where that moisture is coming from, and that will lead to those milder temperatures tonight. Plus, we're going to see some clouds begin to move in overhead. So watch what happens with that light onshore wind as we move through the overnight hours. That pressure gradient tightens up just a bit as we head into your Wednesday, and that will lead to some warmer weather as we head into Wednesday. It will lead to more moisture, and it will lead also, we'll see more cloud cover with 2 chances of rainfall tomorrow. So you see, again, look at those winds pick up, and then look what happens tomorrow night. Winds turn out of the northwest, and that's much colder air that's going to be on the way. Live Doppler radar, pretty quiet right now as we move through the afternoon hours. Our next weather maker is out to the west across Texas, already throwing some clouds in our direction, and eventually some rainfall as we head later on tonight. For more on that, let's go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Yeah, always fascinating to see this sort of structure in the clouds. You really get a good glimpse as to what's sort of happening back towards the west as we try to nudge some of this activity in closer towards us here tomorrow. We'll pick up on those those clouds over the next several hours. High level stuff at first, but you'll see back across Texas certainly a little more robust cloud coverage associated with some rainfall at this time. Way back to the west of Dallas, you got a little low pressure system right there, and then out ahead of it, you've got all this rainfall, which is maybe perhaps a little more robust than expected across Louisiana here. That continues to work its way towards the east and will eventually try to find its way over towards the Panhandle for tomorrow. We will see first the clouds returning tonight, a nice little blanket over the Panhandle, perhaps giving low temperatures just a touch warmer as we have a little less of that radiational cooling effect through the overnight hours. And then early tomorrow morning, we're looking towards the western Panhandle, back towards Escambia, Santa Rosa County for the return of some rain showers, and you'll see those passing through pretty quickly. 6:30 in the morning, perhaps damp for the morning commute here. You see some spots of slightly steadier rainfall, but then overall the general idea is pretty light rainfall moving through at a rather quick pace, so it's not going to be in any one area for a long period of time, except I guess as you look down towards the Forgotten Coast, just the shape of the coastline compared to the shape of that band of rain does keep it there for slightly longer amounts of time. We do dry out briefly heading in through the afternoon hours, but as Chris mentioned, a second wave of showers, mainly up towards I-10 here on the modeling, but that could shift, of course, as we get into the actual outcome for tomorrow. It is, once again, a pretty quick-moving little swath of rainfall there, so don't expect it to stick around for long, but certainly a different view than what we've seen for the past couple of days. So as your evening hours move onwards tonight, cloud coverage does pick up, and temperatures, you'll notice here, they're not getting quite as cold. We do still get into the 40s, which is cold for Florida standards, but as you get past midnight, you're pretty much done with dropping temperatures. They level off there as we get closer towards sunrise, with many spots yesterday, or this morning, I should say, that fell down to freezing or slightly below freezing. Closer to the 40s as you wake up for your Wednesday morning. Coastal spots there, you'll see closer to 50 degrees in places like Inlet Beach or Tyndall Air Force Base, back towards Destin as well. Just a few spots down towards the Apalachicola River where temperatures are, of course, slightly cooler. But all in all, a pretty different feel compared to the past couple of mornings here. And Chris, that'll be something we keep an eye out for to enjoy, although you might have to enjoy it with a raincoat on because the timing of that is a bit unlucky for those getting on the road early for a morning commute or a drop off of the kids at school.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit on the tricky side. Maybe we can get through it, but I think at the very least, like the timing of the rainfall will be, and the amount of rainfall, it will be light enough that I don't know if like the rain boots and the rain gear are necessarily going to be worth it, because most of the daylight hours for Wednesday will actually end up being dry. It just may be like that hour time period dropping off the kids. And then after that, the rest of the day is, we'll say, relatively okay. It'll be mostly cloudy, but it'll be fine. We should reach up into the 60s at least tomorrow before batch number 2 of rain comes in tomorrow night.
It is pretty here to get 2 batches of rain in the same day. A good glimpse as to how quickly that will be moving. So if you don't like it and you don't have to be somewhere, it does look like the sort of thing that you can just wait it out and life will move on pretty quickly afterwards.
Absolutely. Let's see. Coming up in a minute, we already teased it, how much cold weather we still have to come. We have round number 2 of cold weather and round number 3. We're going to run down that, and we'll talk any more rain chances in the forecast. We'll have a rundown on that as well. That's coming up in just a minute.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 2.99% APR on a new Camry, named Best New Model by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla, designed to wow from the inside out. Get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
When it comes to building, local experience matters. At Mid-South Lumber, our team knows the job, and we'll help you get it right the first time. From weekend DIY projects to full custom builds, you'll get solid materials, fair prices, and service you won't find at a big box store. That's why we're the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber. Shop local. Build with confidence. Let's quote your next project today.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
And welcome back, everyone. It is 6:17 here on this Tuesday night. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the studios of Panhandle Weather. Dan Nyman over into Panama City. Everyone wants to know, are we getting snow? Oh, goodness. I heard talk of snow flurries. Oh, man. It's going to be a long winter.
Yeah, I still have the same opinion as I do last night. I'm not cocky enough to say it's impossible that we're going to get flurries. I'm certainly not confident enough to talk about the snowfall in any way as far as what we're looking at this weekend. We are expecting a third front as we get through Saturday into Sunday. Cold temperatures will return behind that front, but it does seem, generally speaking, Chris, like you're going to get kind of the moisture and the front a little bit too early compared to when the cold weather arrives. It's not going to line up, and we're also missing kind of the key ingredient in basically every snow event that we've documented here at the Panhandle. Accumulating snow events have all had a low passing to the south. We don't have any sort of feature that would help to run moisture over top of the cold air, so it does look like snow lovers like me probably going to be a bit disappointed, although it is fun to look at the European model as it continues to spit out solutions, at least showing signs of a flurry somewhere across the southeast.
Yeah, we'll be on top of it, but don't necessarily think that it's definitely going to happen by any stretch. It's very tough to get snow, and as Dan was saying, I'm not really convinced because unless you get low pressure to the south, you're going to be hard pressed to do it. Everything else is just going to be disappointing compared to what we saw last year.
I mean, flurries are certainly different. Accumulating snow looks just about impossible.
Yeah.
So Tiggy shows his tail there on camera.
Oh,
it's just going to be too hard to get any sort of accumulation, basically anywhere across the southeast. But it would be fantastic, of course, to see a flurry or two. There's Tigey, hiding from the cold.
Yes, he just came in. He was like, I'm done with it. Let's go ahead and get down to business. Talk a little bit about the weather. Our friend Phil Chester over into West Bay. Look at that view right there. Fantastic view. And notice again, nary a breath of wind at how calm it is there across the bay. Austin Allen over at Rick Seltzer Park there in Panama City Beach. Looking absolutely gorgeous. The Yoopers this evening. Looking at the bonfire there. The same bonfire that I showed you on this schooner's camera. That's that one right there. Joe Arnold over into Mexico Beach and Maria over in Brandonville. They're on 231. Look at all those cirrus clouds. Just absolutely wonderful sunset this evening. Maria, thank you for sending that in. Things are all quiet and buttoned up there at Sharky's on the deck. No one's obviously dining outside this evening. We would love to see your weather photos. You can submit them to us on our app there at Panhandle Weather. Just scroll on down, go to Submit Photos and Videos. Meanwhile, as we look over into St. Andrews this evening, you can see there's the bay right there, there's the port, and there's Panama City Beach. Visibility obviously very good. Mostly clear skies over into Baytown Wharf this evening. Things are looking nice and quiet there. 49 degrees, winds are out of the west-northwest at 3 miles an hour. Baytown Wharf has their winter wonderland on Saturday. It is, I can tell you real quick, I think it's a makeup because of the rain that didn't come in until after the event this past weekend. So they moved it to this weekend from 9 until 12. It's free. And it's they're going to make snow there on the green space there at Baytown Wharf. So that's the Winter Wonderland there on Saturday. I'll put an event forecast together for that, but it looks pretty good. Maybe we'll take Lila. I think we promised her to go skating at some point. I think we have until like February sometime. February 4th, I think, is the last day to skate there at Baytown Wharf. More clouds, not as cold tonight, but I mean, it's still going to be chilly. There will be some rain late tonight, early tomorrow morning. We'll see mostly cloudy skies as we head into Wednesday, and then an evening rain will be possible as well. So just something to keep in mind that, again, we'll see rain in the morning and rain tomorrow evening. The rest of the week, we'll see several cold blasts to get us through the weekend. One's going to be coming in tomorrow night into Thursday, and then the other one's going to be coming in Sunday into Monday. So our forecast for tonight, temperatures staying steady. 40s. There's that chance of rainfall right there late tonight, early tomorrow morning. As we talked about, winds are very light. Those winds pick up out of the south and west tomorrow. That pumps in the moisture very, very briefly. And then we see our winds turn out of the northwest tomorrow night as that front comes through. And that's going to be that cold air that returns to northwest Florida as we head into your Thursday. High temperatures Thursday, we could struggle to hit 50 degrees. That's how cold we're talking. And then low temperatures Friday morning, way down into the 20s. Look at these dew point temperatures. Obviously very dry right now, probably using the chapstick a little bit more. Look at the brief surge of moisture. It's not a lot, but you see how the color table changes? That's moisture returning to our area very briefly for Wednesday with that onshore wind. And then here comes that dry air returning on Thursday on the backside of that front. So our rainfall chances, again, some small rain chances late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But then we're dry for most of the day. Then we see another chance of rainfall tomorrow evening. So we will be on top of it for sure. But our future clouds and radar, there's our cloud cover increasing. There's your batch of rain that moves through during the overnight hours and skedaddles on through. We keep clouds around throughout the day. Peekaboo sunshine though. And then tomorrow evening, here comes that next little batch of showers across our area before everything clears on out. Low temperatures for tonight, 40s across our area. Some of us through the Chipola River Valley, Bluntstown over from Marietta, Bluntstown down to Weewalk could end up dropping down into the mid to upper 30s. As we head into your Wednesday, we'll see temperatures again starting off into the 40s with that cloud cover and chance of showers. Most of the rest of the day should be fine. Temperatures near 60 degrees for the kiddos. School. High temperatures for your Wednesday, again, mainly up right around 60 degrees, about 59 to 62 degrees. And then there you see on Thursday, there's that surge of cold air beginning to come in. Now, we won't freeze on Thursday morning, but it will definitely start to get colder again. And you'll see that leading edge of that cold air that will begin to slide across our area, with the full brunt of it arriving as we head into your Friday morning. But look at these high temperatures on Thursday. 40s for a good chunk of the Panhandle, maybe low 50s down to, from Panama City through the Forgotten Coast and around through Wakulla County. Now, there is plenty of cold air in place now. Believe it or not, temperatures are above normal across the northern tier of the country. When can we get maybe some warmer weather coming in our direction? Not sure it's going to be anytime soon, but meteorologist Dan Nyman will talk to you about this cold weather and how much longer it may last.
Yeah. I spent some time today on the phone with Doug Hetty out of Joplin, Missouri. Temperatures there were 8 degrees warmer than we were enjoying. So the warm weather is certainly in place across parts of the country. We're just not getting to benefit from it right now. Of course, the story will turn at other points here through the winter, but we're kind of locked in place here as you look across the 7-day forecast. Here's the pattern across the country, though. Up through the Great Lakes, an upper-level system sweeping on through, producing some rain and even some snow showers once again. It's been a snowy winter there at times, as you see this trough dipping down towards the south. That's going to help drive in colder air for us, of course, on the backside of the rainfall we're expecting at 2 times tomorrow. And there you'll see the potential for wind chills below 0 degrees there in that dark shaded red. So very cold weather there. We're complaining here, but obviously it could be a whole lot worse, although they're certainly a little more used to it than we are in Florida. Meanwhile, across the peninsula, more rainfall expected, so we're left out, but the rain showers, much needed rain showers, return across the peninsula here as the system moves through. We'll keep about a 30-40% chance of rainfall in the forecast for Wednesday, a very low chance of precipitation this weekend out ahead of the next cold front in line. As again, we're expecting the trio of cold fronts to come through. We saw the first one to start the week, the next one coming as we get in towards Thursday. Very cold temperatures Thursday. Perhaps another shot of cold air coming by Sunday. This all comes as this big front sweeps parts of the southeast here. You can see ahead of it by a distance that first round of rainfall tomorrow morning, but then along the actual front, and in fact, towards the backside of the front, you get the next wave of rainfall after sunset tomorrow. Looks like the timing for that very quick moving rain showers that'll blast on through. We'll be back towards the sunshine Thursday after a lot of cloud coverage out there tomorrow. But with the clear skies, temperatures will be very capable of cooling, especially with how quickly high pressure moves in. That brings us calm winds too, so very ideal conditions for radiational cooling. That's normally the sort of setup that we get when temperatures reach their coldest for the year. So we have perfect conditions for a very cold start on Friday, and then another round of rainfall, probably starting to fizzle out there across parts of Alabama and in towards North Georgia, and maybe just a few showers as we get in through Saturday, but the chances of that continue to trend downwards at this time. Overall, the next 7 days, rainfall is not going to be significant, even though it is expected for times tomorrow, just a few hundredths of an inch across the Panhandle as we get through the next 7 days. And as we get in through the next 7 days, temperatures stay cool too. Here's the MLK weekend forecast. You'll see temperatures on the cooler side throughout the next several afternoons. We still are going to be stuck in this pattern pretty much a week from today. There you'll see that big trough of low pressure dipping down towards the south right there. It does set us up with a shot of colder air, probably maybe the coldest morning we've seen so far this winter coming for Friday morning. There you see that very stark north wind coming from the central part of Canada, a reinforcing shot of cold air with that next front for Sunday. And all the way through early next week, you still have those blues and even the pinks up across the Ohio. That is where the cold air is locked in place because of this persistent jet pattern. So your temperature trend is a bit of a depressing one if you don't like the cooler air. We have temperatures right up towards 60 degrees tomorrow, a little bit of an improvement from today even, but then we're back into the 40s for many spots across the area for Thursday afternoon. The bottom truly drops out Friday morning. That'll be the spot where low temperatures could fall as low as, look here, inland 22 degrees. Remember, for wrapping pipes, it's 12 hours below 32, 4 hours below 25 degrees is a good rule of thumb. it does look like that would be a necessary precaution for pretty much everywhere except for the immediate beaches. If you live within a couple of miles of the coast right now, it doesn't look like you have to take those precautions, although it's certainly better to be safe than sorry. That is once again for Friday morning, so you have today, tomorrow to get those preps out of the way for that extreme shot of cold air. Your temperature outlook into early next week, still leaning cooler than normal, and of course drier than normal too. Some rain showers expected to our northwest, though. That leaves us with a very cold 7-day forecast. I've only been working in the Panhandle for 3.5 years, but I think this is the longest cold weather forecast we've had in that time frame. We're going to have 7 more days of it, at or below average as far as high temperatures go. Your coolest morning at the coast is Friday. Temps could be as cool as the upper 20s to low 30s. It certainly looks like it's not out of the question to see that. And then for sure, a hard freeze is expected as you get in towards many inland spots north of the base, Highway 20, I-10. Again, we'll probably be wrapping those pipes for Friday morning. Temperatures, though, for the afternoon, Chris, they at least return to a slight improvement from where we were on Thursday afternoon. The afternoon high temperatures Thursday just miserable in the 40s. I don't know that there's going to be much of a reason at all to get outside.
No, I think we'll be hunkered down for sure. Yeah, it's good. It's just going to be. There's no other way to really call it. It's just going to be cold, my friends, and we don't see any really warm weather for the next 7 days. I was going to maybe take a look here and see if maybe there's something beyond that. Looks like maybe January, 23rd, so 10 days from now, we get into a southerly flow. So I think maybe like a warm up the middle part of next week. We'll start to see a warm up. I think that may be it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, I do think, like, even this year, 3 days has kind of been the max for temperatures cooler than average. Normally, it's what goes up must come down, and the inverse is true too. So you don't spend a very long time in either sort of extreme. We did spend an extreme amount of time warmer than average, though. So we got spoiled, and now we're being punished for it. And we'll all be hoping for a turn of the tide here soon.
Yeah, it will, no complaining about it. But yeah, we're hopeful that we'll get a nice little warm up. But yeah, you look at those lows. I mean, 22, that's crazy. And then, 30, 29 degrees, 33 degrees. So what? That's like almost 4 freezing nights for inland areas. And now just one that I would be concerned about, obviously, with the pipes there. Which would be Friday morning, but the others are, somewhat near or slightly below freezing.
So here's an interesting one. While we're thinking about snow, I just got curious and started clicking around here, Chris. So I'll pull this up on my screen. This is the European model, which this is the run that produced what appeared to be snowfall if you look at the snow map output. But this is just precipitation. There's no type or category listed, just is there going to be precipitation? And then you have those blue and red lines, which are called thickness. And when your thickness value is 540 or less, it's typically a spot where it's more likely to get wintry precipitation. It's not a hard rule. It changes in different parts of the country, but that is a good general line to look at for identifying where is there precipitation and where is it cold enough for that to be of the wintry variety. And you'll notice here, even though this model for some reason is producing snowfall, if you look at some of the other parameters, as this wave of very, very light showers push on through Saturday into Sunday, it's well in advance of the cold air. 50, 60, 70 miles, Chris. So at no point there does it look like the conditions truly line up, even on the computer model that's pointing towards potentially some winter mischief. And that alone is a bit of a depressing sight for our snow lovers, but it does tell me that maybe we're not seeing the real truth coming out right now from those computer models. And it mainly has been the European model that's been kind of doing that. Our in-house model's been playing games too. But when the parameters aren't lining up on the computer model for what it's saying as far as precipitation type, it's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, did the 15 kilometer, because I don't think the 3 kilometer goes out far enough yet. Did the 15 do anything?
Yeah, the 15's been pretty steady down through the Wiregrass. But it's never had any sort of fun down towards Panama City, but it has had some mischief up along I-10. So it is a trend to watch. But again, I'll pull this back up here. This is the actual output from the European model, and it is small on your screen here, but as we put that forward through time, none of those gray dots where you have 1/100th of an inch of snow, you can't even call it accumulation, but none of that lines up with where the cold air and the precipitation met. So it doesn't look to me like it's something we can really put a lot of faith and belief in at this time.
Well,
I would love to see it happen, but
that's the thing.
it doesn't make sense.
That's the thing is, like, if you look at the 7-day forecast, we have clouds. We really don't have any precipitation. It's like a 10% chance, maybe.
Yeah, the dry air definitely wins out, especially when you talk about these anafront snow events where the moisture, at least on the modeling, is trying to happen behind the boundary. It's usually those are the ones that are fool's gold, and the dry air wins, and you end up not getting anything at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch it. We got several days to do so, but you know, it's so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, we're definitely not trying to rain on the parade, but I also want to be realistic because credibility is important to me.
And it's not necessarily going to snow on the parade either.
Yeah, it might just be cold.
Most likely. Well, I think that's everything for today. I don't think we could do anything else.
It was a solid half hour.
There we go. Austin Allen, yes, thank you very much for that picture. We appreciate it. He was over at Rick Seltzer Park and sent in that one picture there. And let's see. Caden, yeah, the snow's unlikely. Lisa, I'm sorry. We'll see. But y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And tomorrow I am speaking to the Master Gardeners over there at the UF Extension office there on 14th Street in Panama City. Excited to go out and talk to them. Not that I can advise them very much on on having a green thumb. Hopefully they have that taken care of, but we'll talk about the weather.
All right, thanks everybody for stopping by. Plenty more updates dropped in the channel just about right now. So we'll resume with that, bring more updates on social media, and then of course have updates throughout the day tomorrow as 2 waves of rain roll through, and we'll have a 6 o'clock show out there tomorrow as well. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye-bye. Won't be as